Perseverance is failing 19 times and succeeding the 20th. Julie Andrews. My friends, each and every day, that's what practice is for, to make the mistakes, because it's by making those mistakes that you learn. Let's jump into these charts. We see stocks and bonds are down, gold and Bitcoin are up. My friends, maybe the crash is here. We'll continue to see how long this down movement goes, but it's the first significant down movement we've seen in a while. We see the S&P 500 down 0.84%. First day of this latest two-day candle. We've got decent volume. Should reach the average or above tomorrow. We can see where things really plunged in the morning. And then doesn't look like went as low in the afternoon. I'm looking at Heikin Ashi candlesticks. So they're not your typical open, high, low, close. We use Heikin Ashi candlesticks because they help us see the average pace, which is apparently the meaning in Japanese. And of course, we had good volume. We can see that reflected in the first day of the latest two-day candle. And look at this volume. We're just through Tuesday, and it's already as high as it is, as again, we see things moving down strongly with that volume. Where are we on the Qs? This is the NASDAQ. This is what I told you I moved into, and my positions will increase. If this continues, we see that we have decent volume already on the weekly, decent volume on the two-day, going lower. We can see again, like the S&P, where things plunged in the morning, slowed down some in the afternoon, down 1.22%. We are riding that wave down. You might say, Tom, how do you ride a wave down? Well, if you're a Patreon member, then you've taken our three-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way, and you know what puts are all about. You could be practice trading them. But when it comes to other options, of course, I put this training out yesterday for everyone about how you could possibly use inverse funds. They can work. You can see here SH is a single inverse for the S&P 500. It's going up this week. And on PSQ, a single inverse of the NASDAQ, it's going up also. These funds are tied to the underlying assets, which of course are, for that one, the NASDAQ 100 for SH, that is SPY, and for every percent that the S&P 500 goes down, the inverse fund goes up 1%. They don't have the same dollar amounts, as you can see, $660.08 when we look at SH. It is $37.56, but it's the same percentage, and that's what counts. Let's keep moving. Where are we on 20-year U.S. government bonds? They are down just a little bit, pretty much flat. You can see where they moved down on Friday and really sliding sideways a little bit lower, as we can see. But again, volume's decent, particularly in the morning, slacked off in the afternoon. I guess we're okay on volume so far. We'll see if we get up to average. But again, down candle. And of course, a down candle for the week. Now you look at the low 2 weeks ago, it was 88.88 last week, 88.87 this week, 88.80. So it is a little bit lower, but again, bonds are pretty much flat here. That's why we don't have any directional probability that's jumping out of the bag on us. But there is an overall negative tendency to bonds. Where are we with gold? I don't know, my friends. We have a doji right here. Well, not even a doji. It's just a weird looking little candle. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's sort of a doji. There's all sorts of different terms you could give it, but not much going on gold. It was up for the day, technically 0.73%. You can see where it ranged some in the morning, and by the end of the day did go up some after several days of down movement. And again, we are above the weekly trend line, which was down. I don't even have a trend. I can't even call it a trend line. We had 2 weeks of down movement. Last week was up. This week, who the hell knows what's going on? So we're waiting for gold to sort itself out. And when it does, we might have a trend. What about Bitcoin? Bitcoin's up for the day, 0.10%. Hard to see, isn't it? You can sort of see where it slowed its down move, because it had been rocketing down. You can see this now going on into the third week of strong down movements. We didn't hit average volume last week. This week we may. We sure saw huge volume on that prior 2-day candle, the Friday, Monday of this week, Friday of last week. The Tuesday, don't know if we'll get average volume on this. We saw the low there was 25.78 on the prior candle. This one 25.73. So it is a little bit lower by a few cents, not much. Again, for the day, we see that Bitcoin was up 1%. So we'll keep an eye on things. Still, though, decidedly a negative mood in Bitcoin, particularly going into this third week of strong down candles. That is where we are, my friends. Again, some negativity in the market. We'll continue to keep an eye on things and keep you posted. I hope you practice trading. Did you go negative with me as per Friday? We'll see. We'll see how this continues to go in the queue. So far, so good. God bless, my friends. All the best. Remember, we're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We don't give market advice. All our disclaimers are there. We want you to practice with us. Learn everything you can learn. Take all the classes. Do all the trainings. Practice all you can and learn this. You'll make up. Don't worry about how long it takes because you'll make up for every minute you ever spent when you succeed, and you will.